Does Worlds Beyond Number need video?
Okay, well, let's roll the tape on that.
We won't get the first official episode of Worlds Beyond Number for a few more weeks, but this upcoming tabletop RPG actual play podcast starring Brennan Lee Mulligan, Erika Ishii, Aabria Iyengar, and Lou Wilson already has nearly 20,000 backers on Patreon. This makes Worlds Beyond Number one of the biggest tabletop RPG Patreons out there, which is impressive given that, once again, we've only gotten one pre-episode that has appeared on any public podcast feeds. While Worlds Beyond Number is already a success, and again, that is pretty impressive given that we've only gotten one preview released publicly, we have seen more than a few backers and would-be backers ask if the podcast plans to release video content. Now, this is covered in the podcast's Frequently Asked Questions, which says that it is mostly an audio-only podcast, although there may be some behind-the-scenes footage every once in a while. For some, this seems like an oddity, given that the show's performers are all primarily known to the tabletop RPG community for appearing in various actual play videos and shows. To be clear, there are a few TTRPG podcasts that are almost exclusively audio only and are still very big. Dungeons and Daddies, which is the largest tabletop RPG podcast with a Patreon, is exclusively audio. So is Not Another D&D podcast. And of course, the majority of the Adventure Zone is audio only. So Worlds Beyond Number isn't exactly alone in being an audio only podcast, but it is something of an outlier in the world of actual plays, which often depend on a multi-platform approach of Twitch, YouTube, and podcasts for maximum exposure. But while video might be the norm, it's very hard to make a professional quality actual play show. Take, for instance, Bookshops of Arkham, the recent actual play show launched by Chaosium and Roll20 featuring Call of Cthulhu. It has 20 people credited for the production of the show. If they're filming in a single location, they'd also need to book a studio, rent or purchase equipment, and also schedule a lot of time to get everything set up and ready to go to film the actual play show. Even if they did the standard actual play setup with everyone sitting in their own home and playing in front of their computer, they'd still need to buy quality cameras and have a stable internet connection and stream decks and a bunch of other little stuff. Meanwhile, Worlds Beyond Number likely has, well, one person working on production, the producer, Taylor Moore. There's a lot less costs involved, which means more of the money raised by the Patreon actually goes to the creators involved in the making of the show. They don't need to rely on merch sales or sponsorships to make things work financially. They simply need to focus on the storytelling and performance, which, frankly is why Patreons exist in the first place. Now, even if this is recorded on a soundstage, it's still a lot cheaper than trying to make a good video, which makes a lot of sense given that the cast probably didn't know how big this podcast would be before they launched it. Now, my personal opinion, I think it's a bit refreshing that a new show, albeit one that stars an all-star cast of performers, and, let's face it, if there was going to be anything that was going to be a success, it would probably be Worlds Beyond Number. But it's still pretty refreshing that a new show can choose to go audio only and still be a success. Hopefully, Worlds Beyond Number opens up a viable alternative for folks looking to make their own actual play show. One that isn't as expensive, but still focuses on the important stuff, the storytelling. I mean, let's face it, it's not like podcasts are dying or anything like that. That medium is exploding right now, and hopefully we get more actual play shows as a result. So, let us know what you think in the comments. Do you think Worlds Beyond Number needs videos? Let us know, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.